Hi guys, everybody. So this video is a little bit different. Some of you will know what I'm referring to, some of you won't. But the reason I'm creating this video is because there's certain people that for some reason have an axe to grind, whether it's with me or with Dave or with the club or whatever, with the way that we are. I don't know. I don't really care what their issue is, but I've never had my chance to put my side of the story across. And the ones that have listened to me have gone, well, what the hell is all this about then? So let me just give you a brief overview of what happened from my side of it, and then again, you just you do what you want to do, but it doesn't bother me either way. But what does upset me is when the people that have got it in for me and Dave attack my members and my club. Because my members have done nothing wrong. They've come, they've joined, they've come for the love of bonsai, and I'm doing my best to help them with that. I'm still learning. As I said, I've been doing it 3 years. Never said that I know everything. Never. Like Peter Chan says, there's always another way to do it. There's always someone else that's got a different way to do it, and as long as it works, then it works. I'm not a traditionalist. That's true, which again may upset people. I don't know, but again, it's nothing to do with them. So again, right. So a couple of years ago, so the K2. So not this K2 we've just had, but the one before, Crawley. Myself and Dave went. I personally have never been to a bonsai show in my life, so I was really excited. I have ADHD, by the way, recently diagnosed. So again, that isn't an excuse, but it does go a long way to explain why I'm, as some people say, very loud and very this and very that and very in your face. That's because of my ADHD. That's just the way I am. I'm a very bubbly, friendly person. The first time I meet you, I'll shake your hand and go, how you doing, mate? That's just who I am. And if that's a crime, fine, again, then don't like me. Anyway, so I was very, very excited. We were doing a video. We were all over the place, videoing certain people. The video is still up, but I've taken out the bit that obviously offended everybody. So what happened was we were filming the show trees, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was a juniper. And I was filming, and Dave very, very gently reached down and caressed one of the branches because the foliage was so soft. So he did that and just commented on how lovely the tree was, and that was it. There was no harm done, there was no ill intent, there was nothing, just a gentle touch. We obviously put the video up online because I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, to be fair. You were appreciating the tree. And within a couple of hours, we were ripped to pieces for touching the tree. Now, we were devastated because we were like, whoa, we didn't expect this kind of backlash. And we were told, well, it's an unwritten rule. Okay, but this is a public event. Hundreds of members of the public are there that may not know that unwritten rule. Why is it not a written rule? And funny enough, since then I've noticed that a lot of shows are putting up signs saying do not touch, but there was no sign saying do not touch. So it's all right, people saying, well, he should have known, they should have known, but I didn't. And obviously I can't talk for Dave, but at the end of the day, it was a gentle, appreciative touch. No harm was done, no destruction, no malice, no nothing. Just sharing the love of bonsai. We do it all the time. Whenever you go to a nursery, I'm sure you touch trees. That's what you're there for. You pick up a tree or a plant to see if that's what you want to buy and all the rest of it. Check out the ramification, etc., etc. Obviously, this is different because it was a show, and they sort of said today, yeah, maybe because it is a show tree. We should have thought about it. So we both apologised. Dave actually put a public apology up on the internet. I apologised. And that should have been it, really. We should have got, don't do it again. Now you know, there's your yellow card. But that ain't what happened. What did happen was that we were banned from the K2. Fine, whatever. But then on social media, we were slated, not just for touching the tree. I personally had insults about my weight, my job, my car, the way I talk, the way I look, and so did Dave. And that is just not on, especially in this day and age. That is bullying, that is harassment, it's intimidation to some respects, because there was a few quite intimidating messages we were getting, people threatening to, come and beat us up. It shouldn't happen. This is meant to be Bonsai, meant to be a peaceful, loving community. So anyway, I was really upset about that, and it took me a while to get over that. And I explained to my members about that, and they were all very supportive. And in all fairness, I've seen quite a few big names in the last couple of years, and they're all very supportive. I've had hundreds of messages from people saying to me that they don't want to go publicly, but they totally appreciate that we were treated in such a bad way, and that they're sorry for that. Anyway, let bygones be bygones, yeah, put that behind me. So anyway, going forward to last week, so nearly 2 years later, yeah, just remember that, 2 years later, me and Dave decided to ask Vinny Rathor to come and do a talk for us on pints. He was very highly recommended by someone I know from Twickenham Bonsai, and I thought, great, we'll give him a call. Gave him a call, lovely guy, was more than happy to come and do a talk with us, and we designed a poster and put it up for social media. Within 24 hours, that poster was copied and twisted using AI into something that was a detrimental attack on my character and Dave's character. It was lies. It was just completely vulgar. Basically slander is what you'd call it. And that wasn't just aimed at us, that was obviously aimed at Vinny as well, because he was in the poster. And it was aimed at my club, all my members that have done nothing wrong. So again, as you can imagine, I was very upset, thinking, well, this is 2 years ago. Why can't people just let it go? One of us touched a tree. Harmless little act. I mean, come on. So I phoned a few people up. I was actually accused of doing it myself at one point. I was like, no. In the end, it turns out that we found out where it came from. And we asked certain people to remove it, which I believe they have done. I spoke with Mark from the UKBA, and he did help trying to track down where this had come from. And I've got a pretty good idea where it's come from, because I've now had another post put up in reply to one of my posts. And that comes from someone called Bonsai Hobbyists. I don't know who this person is. Obviously, they've got an axe to grind. They're anonymous, so again, whatever. I mean, I've got bigger fish to fry, to be fair. But whoever this person is, they're still going out of their way 2 years later to try and disrespect me, disrespect Dave, disrespect the club. This is meant to be bonsai. It's meant to be a hobby where we can all come together. All I'm doing is trying to promote bonsai. If some of you don't like the way I'm doing it, then I'm sorry, but that's my choice. If some of you don't like my personality, I'm sorry, but that's my choice. But it's also a protected characteristic. And for people to continuously slander and belittle myself and my friend Dave and our club and all my members, that is just not fair. If you have a problem with me, message me privately and we can have a discussion. Don't hide behind posts with anonymous names and spread stupid propaganda. That is just ridiculous. So, as I said, I just wanted to get the story straight. So, yes, so these are the facts for anyone that doesn't know. We touched a tree, and when I say touched a tree, it wasn't breaking it, snapping it, nothing like that. It was a gentle, it's so soft and beautiful. Fine, we apologised. For that, we got banned, lifelong ban from K2. to, which again I think is a bit harsh, that should be enough punishment, should it not? But no, on top of that, we still got comments, vile comments. And again, we left it. Year and a half, 2 years later, it's now started again. I can't put a post on social media without someone feeling that they had the right to take that post, alter it, and then put it back out on the web, slandering me and my club. Now, if any of you know what bonsai is about, you will know that's wrong. Whether you agree with us touching a tree or not, that's regardless. That doesn't matter. This is 2 years later. And let's just talk about that, touching a tree. I mean, seriously, guys? Seriously. Touching a tree. That's what this is all about. So, anyway, I'm not going to go on about it any longer. Yes, 2 years ago, Dave gently touched the foliage on a juniper in a very appreciative way, not disrespectful or hatred or anything like that. For that, we've had 2 years of banishment, we've had 2 years of abuse, we've had 2 years of personal attacks and personal comments, and now they're attacking my club. So please, if anyone sees this, don't encourage it. Just say, what the hell, mate? This is pathetic. There are people dying in the world. There are people, I can't even go into words. 99% of you are probably sitting there right now thinking, oh my God, this is nothing. This is trivial. What the hell? And it is trivial. It's pathetic. I'm having to come on social media and ask someone or someone's to stop attacking us because of us touching a tree 2 years ago. It's just pathetic. Anyway, sorry guys, for that bit of a downer, but that's it now. I'm done with it. Whoever you are, you want to keep slagging us off, you want to keep disrespecting, fine. But eventually the bonsai community are going to be like, mate, grow up. I'm not going to name names on here, but I can count at least half a dozen people that I've spoken to that are quite high up, within the bonsai community, that totally agree with me. And I think it's a complete and utter piss take. I'm sorry it is. But obviously no one wants to put their head above the parapet because they're afraid they might, get labelled with the same whatever. But again, let's just put this in perspective. We touched a tree. So yeah, anyway, so if you didn't know the story, now you know the story. Feel free to make your own mind up. But when you do, just base it on that incident, not what I look like, what I sound like, whether I've got ADHD or not. That's not what it's based on. It should be based on that incident and the level of punishment that you feel we should get for that. Anyway, till the next one, guys, take it easy.